few years ago, someone that I loved deeply hurt me. I was lied to, I felt manipulated, and it was someone I loved. So I called a friend, a life coach, a spiritually enlightened and conscious woman, a woman I respected, and told her and asked her counsel. Her answer was, concepts of right doing and wrong doings always cause suffering, so I can't deal with it. She continued and said, it's all innocence trying to seek peace. I'm quoting that. In her words, my father who raped me, the person who steals from me, the man who rapes a woman, it's all innocence trying to seek peace. Now this is sort of took me back, because I work in conflict areas. I worked in conflict areas, and I worked with women in Congo and Rwanda and Bosnia and Afghanistan, where they were raped and cut and hatched, and loved ones killed in front of them and pillaged and burnt. And if I tell them this is innocence trying to seek peace, they will spit on me. They will despise me, and they have the right to hang me, actually. It's a complete disrespect of those who are facing injustice. So, but also, if I go back to my own home country, Iraq, where I was there a few months ago, and the drive from the house I grew up in, which has become an execution center, a brothel, a military base, my own family home, and the drive from that home to the front lines with ISIS, 3 hours of drive, where I passed by every town, village, city, school, mosque, homes, palaces, stores. They are not only destroyed, they are leveled down. 3 hours of drive of my memory. And if I go to Iraqis, my fellow citizens, and I tell them this is all innocence trying to meet peace, they will hang me. They will despise not only me, but anybody who claims that love is all about love. Now, I do believe love is bigger than all. I really do believe love is bigger than all. But I do believe there is a right and the wrong, justice and injustice. And I think when we hide behind love, we insult love. This is a time of fear. We can hide and say, it's all love, 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 which I think a lot of people in this country do. Love, 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 love is all good. Or we address it and look at the issues of injustice and fear in the eyes. As a Muslim, my heart is broken these days. And it's broken not only at the demonization of the religion from outside, it is broken because the religion is in conflict right now within itself. To tell you that Islam is all about peace is to whitewash the violence that is actually happening in the name of Islam. So I don't want to lie, but it's breaking my heart that this is happening in the name of my religion. A religion that I actually see its beauty. I really see its beauty and its grace and its kindness. And I also see the act of horror that is being committed in its name. So in seeking to understand that, I went to France. And I tried to understand why people are being radicalized. Why people are shooting in France so many terrorist acts, and they're all saying Allahu Akbar in the name of God. God is great. And it took me a really long time to go, to get people to speak with me, and to it was a journey of a leap of faith on their behalf in me and of my behalf in them. And I finally got to speak to the mother and the sister of one of the people who committed the Vatican Act, who killed 130 people in France in about a year and a half ago, less than that. It was the September 11 of France. And I was genuinely curious to understand why. Because his act was a violation of me as a Muslim, not only of me as a feminist or whatever, or a citizen, of me as a Muslim. Beside a violation of France and of citizens and of civilians. My philosophy about fear is that rather than hide it and do this, go through it, face it, and look at it in the eyes. And that's what I was trying to do with the family. I entered thinking it's a family of fear. They're all going to be scary, wearing all black, chadors, all of that. None. There was love in that family. It was actually very weird. For me, it's disorienting because it's a family of a terrorist and I see love. And I try to understand why? Did the role of religion in your upbringing? And they're like, no, not really. We fasted just like I did. We celebrated this, but not just like I did. And I try to ask, are you a good parent? Maybe violence? Nothing. And I came to learn slowly that his story that turned him from a normal person in a normal family, just like mine, to a terrorist, started with discrimination. He goes as a teenager in a mall. They say, you are an Arab, you're going to steal. They tell him liberté, fidelité, liberty, freedom, and fidelity to all, but it does not apply to him. He starts taking the religion, on religion prayers. His family doesn't matter. It's your religion. You're not afraid of your own religion. And little by little, he starts slipping, and that's when ISIS comes and recruits him. So I came to realize that ISIS actually was not the issue. ISIS was taking advantage of the issue. And the issue is injustice. And the issue is discrimination. And the issue is racism. Now I understand, and this is a very controversial thing for me. I really associate with a lot of the things you said, because I understood his journey from A to L. The journey of moving you from a normal person to being an angry person. But I don't agree with his journey from L to W. Because when we lead with anger, anger is okay to have because it is the spark against injustice that we do need to have. But when we have anger fuel that fire, we become the very thing we despise. And he became the very thing he despised by becoming the terrorists. I came to realize when he was saying, and all of them, Allahu Akbar, just before they committed crimes, they were not saying God is great. They were saying, screw you all. That's what they were saying. It's a subtext, it's a subtitle. But what he did, he lost himself in the anger. And he lost religion in the anger, and he lost a sense of the right and the wrong. And that's what happens when we lead with anger. So do I believe that love and revolutionary love? Yes. Because when we don't follow that path, we lose who we are. But what do I tell the women who told me it's all innocence trying to meet peace? I say, come back to this earth. Humanity needs you as human beings. There is right and wrong. There is injustice. It's how we deal with it is the issue, is not denying it is the issue. So how do we deal with it these days? I have been under political depression since the election. As a woman, as a Muslim, as an immigrant, as a refugee, I felt at a loss. I felt speechless. Well, how do we do this? But the loss for me is not only at Trump. The sense of speechlessness and also anger, to be very honest, is at the liberal side as well. We are now using him as a hanger for all the stuff we have, but we co-created today. We co-created this story and we each own it. I am one of those people who had a self-righteousness about me. After all, I am from Iraq. I'm a woman of color. I'm a feminist. I started Women for Women International and helped 500,000 women and distributed 100 million people. I judged the other. I judged them and I looked down at them and I despised some of the ideologies they stood for. But how is that different than them? How they looked at me. I came to realize we all want to be Schindler in Schindler's List. But if we don't have the courage to speak truth to our own selves and to our own families, and if we don't have the courage to speak truth in our meeting tables, how do we expect that we have the courage to speak about injustice in front of power? I once dreamt that we must forgive even when not asked for forgiveness. I was like, no, this is too much. I'm dealing with the dreams, like this is too much to ask. Forgive even when not asked for forgiveness. And the dream kept on saying, you must forgive even when not asked for forgiveness. Finally, I did not understand what it is. Honestly, I thought it was about Sunni and Shia forgiving each other for centuries of fighting. I thought it's about Muslims and Jews forgiving each other for Palestine and Israel. I thought it's about Hutus and Tutsis forgiving each other. And I would give speeches about forgiveness, advocating for Mandela's voices and all of and Gandhi and all of that. But I could not forgive that same person who hurt me, a man I loved. How can I forgive my enemy if I cannot forgive the most intimate hurt that had in my heart? And I couldn't do it. To be honest, I really couldn't do it until I had to ask myself, well, how have I betrayed myself? And that's the hardest journey, the journey to the self. So we can point the finger as much as we want at all the wrong that is happening at ourselves, around us. But try to point the finger here. It's pretty bad. When I was married once and after my divorce, I thought like he's out of the house, I'm all okay. And then one day I found myself irritated and there was no man to argue with. Nothing, no husband, nothing. So I remember my finger gaze like, oh no, it's me. When I realized the points of myself that I had betrayed myself, the moments that I allowed to silence the instinct that said this is wrong, the lack of courage when I let something wrong happen and did not say it and did not stop it, when I doubted myself, when I let people take advantage of me and did not stand up because I wanted to be a nice girl that everyone would love, because I was embarrassed of being the angry woman. I did not want to be angry. That's how I betrayed myself. It is the insecure woman in me, the insecure girl in me who wanted to be loved. And when I saw that part of me, I could forgive her. And when I could forgive me, actually he was irrelevant. I could forgive him as well. But more important, I could forgive the larger enemy. I could now forgive the Sunni and the Shia and the Hutus and the Tutsis and the Muslims and the Jews. I could forgive that. But up until that moment where I could learn to forgive me for what I have done to me, I could not, all of these concepts were theoretical, intellectual concepts. So do I believe in revolutionary love? Of course I do. But I ask that this moment in history, this moment on time, we have two ways of fighting. We have the fight against, or we fight out of our own integrity and values by owning the good, the bad, and the ugly within. I used to think of the world as good people and bad people, until I came to realize the good and the bad and the ugly is everywhere, including in myself. And so yes, I used to think it is the colonized and the colonizers as a colonized person. But I no longer think that. I think we do injustice to ourselves as well. And we need to own our own shit as well. And only then can we stand up and we fight. But we fight from owning who we are, from the core of our spine, from the core of our values, and owning everything in us and not making ourselves victims or victimized. That, for me, is revolutionary love. We must build a bridge. In this time, we need to build a bridge more than any time. In a time of fear, the only way forward is to have the uncomfortable conversation. So build a bridge. They will destroy it. Build a bridge again. They will destroy it again. Build a bridge until so many people are part of building that bridge. It cannot and will not be destroyed. That is revolutionary love. Thank you.